You've done it in a car. You've done it at your front door pretending your neighbors weren't watching. You've done it in the rain like it was a movie, and you've done it badly, at least once, in middle school, in a way you still think about at 2 a.m. for absolutely no reason. Kissing. Something so normal we barely think about it. You just do it. Nobody teaches you the rules. Nobody hands you a manual. And yet somehow almost every human on Earth knows exactly what to do the first time it happens. So where did that come from? Is it instinct? Is it learned? Did the first humans do it too? Or is kissing actually a surprisingly recent invention? Something we picked up along the way, like forks or small talk? That's what we're figuring out today. And fair warning, the answer is stranger, older, and weirder than you'd think. Before we go anywhere, let's strip this down to its bare core. Because kissing isn't actually one thing. It's at least 3 different things wearing the same name. There's the romantic kiss, mouth to mouth, the one you're probably picturing right now. There's the affectionate kiss, a kiss on the cheek, the forehead, the hand. And there's something researchers call the kiss of respect. Think of a parent kissing a sleeping child, or a ritual greeting between elders. Same word, completely different function. And here's the twist that surprises most people. Not every human culture does the romantic kiss. Anthropologists have documented dozens of societies, from parts of the Amazon to certain groups in sub-Saharan Africa and the Pacific, where mouth-to-mouth kissing, as a romantic or sexual act, simply isn't part of the culture at all. Not taboo, not hidden, just not a thing they do. Which raises an uncomfortable question for anyone who assumed kissing was universal human wiring. If it were pure biological instinct, hardwired the way blinking or flinching is, you'd expect it everywhere. You don't get that. You get something patchier, something that looks a lot more like it was learned, and then spread. So if it's not pure instinct, where does it come from? Let's go back. Way back. Before language, before fire, before Homo sapiens even existed. Primatologists studying our closest relatives, chimpanzees and bonobos, have documented something remarkable. Bonobos, in particular, mouth touch constantly. They do it to greet each other, to calm each other down after a fight, to reinforce social bonds. It's not romantic in the way we'd think about it, but it's unmistakably intimate, deliberate, and social. Chimps and humans split from a common ancestor roughly 6 million years ago, which means the raw material for mouth-to-mouth contact as a bonding behavior might be millions of years older than humans themselves. But there's a second theory, and it's a little less romantic, literally. It's called kiss feeding. Before baby food existed, before blenders, before jars with cartoon fruit on the label, mothers in many ancient and even some modern traditional societies pre-chewed food and passed it directly from their mouth to their infant's mouth. It's still practiced today in parts of the world. It's intimate, it's mouth to mouth, and it happens between the two people who arguably have the deepest bond a human can have. Some anthropologists believe romantic kissing may have evolved, culturally, not biologically, as an adult echo of that exact behavior. A leftover of the single most trusted, most intimate contact a person experiences as an infant, repurposed later in life for a different kind of bond. Which means the first kiss in human history might not have been romantic at all. It might have been a mother feeding her child, mouth to mouth, tens of thousands of years before anyone thought to do it for any other reason. Now let's talk about when we actually have proof. For a long time, the earliest recorded kiss was believed to come from Bronze Age South Asia. Texts referencing people sniffing with their mouths, pressing faces together, roughly 3,500 years ago. But in 2023, researchers pushed that timeline back even further by re-examining Mesopotamian clay tablets, the same kind of tablets that gave us humanity's oldest customer complaint letter, love poems, and legal contracts. Scientists found explicit references to kissing as a romantic and sexual act dating back 4,500 years. Not hinted at, not implied, written down, plainly, as something people did with each other. And here's the detail that changes the whole story. The researchers who found this argued that kissing wasn't invented in Mesopotamia. It shows up too casually in the texts. Mention the way you'd mention holding hands, not the way you'd describe something brand new and remarkable, which suggests it was already an old, familiar, unremarkable part of daily life by the time anyone bothered to write it down. In other words, by the time humans started keeping records, kissing wasn't news. It was just Tuesday. Here's where it gets genuinely interesting, because from a purely evolutionary standpoint, kissing is a strange thing to do. Think about it practically. You're pressing your face, specifically the part of your face with the most bacteria on your entire body, against someone else's face. You're exchanging saliva, germs, and, depending on who you ask, somewhere between 10 and 80 million bacteria in a single kiss. Biologically speaking, this should be something evolution actively discourages, not encourages. So why does it persist? Researchers have a few theories, and they're not mutually exclusive. Theory 1. Mate assessment. Getting extremely close to someone's face lets you smell them. And smell, it turns out, carries an enormous amount of biological information. Some researchers believe kissing may have evolved partly as a way to unconsciously assess a potential partner's immune system compatibility through scent and taste, information you literally cannot get any other way without getting this close. Theory 2. Bonding chemistry. Kissing triggers a cocktail of hormones: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, the same chemical signals involved in trust and attachment. A kiss isn't just an act. It's a shortcut straight to the brain's bonding circuitry. Theory 3, and this one's less flattering. It might just be a really good stress test. A close, vulnerable, face-to-face act reveals a lot about compatibility, comfort, and chemistry, fast. Evolution doesn't need kissing to be necessary. It just needs it to be useful, a fast, honest signal that's hard to fake. Whatever the exact mix of reasons, the outcome is the same. An act that looks biologically risky on paper turned out to be evolutionarily worth keeping around. Let's go back to that uncomfortable detail from earlier. The cultures where romantic kissing simply never developed. This matters because it tells us something important. Kissing is not a human universal. It's a human invention that spread. In many of these societies, physical affection absolutely exists, just expressed differently. Nose-to-nose touching, sniffing near the face or neck, which, evolutionarily, connects right back to that scent-based bonding theory. Ritual embraces. The intimacy is universal. The specific act of mouth-to-mouth contact is not. And this is where colonial history gets uncomfortable, because in several documented cases, mouth kissing was introduced to a culture through contact with European explorers and colonizers, and in some cases, initially regarded with confusion or even disgust by the people encountering it for the first time, which flips the usual assumption on its head entirely. We tend to think of kissing as this deep, ancient, universal human trait. For a meaningful chunk of human history and geography, it was closer to a foreign custom. So the honest answer to why did ancient humans start kissing isn't one single answer. It's closer to some ancient humans started kissing, in some places, for reasons that may go back millions of years in raw form. And then, over thousands of years, it spread, culture to culture, until it became something close to a global default. So bring this back to the present. Back to you, in a car, at a front door, in the rain, in a memory you still think about at 2 a.m. for no reason. That moment wasn't just a personal one. It was you participating in something with roots that might stretch back millions of years to a bonobo calming a rival after a fight, and thousands of years to a mother feeding her child, mouth to mouth, the single deepest bond a human being can form. And somewhere in between, a Mesopotamian couple, 4,500 years ago, doing something ordinary enough that nobody thought to explain it. They just wrote it down like it was nothing. It also means something else, something a little more humbling. The kiss isn't as universal, as automatic, or as obviously human as it feels from the inside. It's a cultural technology as much as a biological one, passed down, taught without words, spread across the world unevenly, until most of us inherited it without ever once being told where it came from. You didn't invent it. Nobody in your family tree did either. You just picked it up, the way humans have been quietly passing it to each other, mouth to mouth, for longer than anyone can precisely say. So next time it happens, in a car, at a door, in the rain, badly, in middle school, at 2 a.m. for no reason, you'll know something most people never think about. You're not doing something modern. You're not doing something universal, either. You're doing something old, something borrowed from creatures that couldn't speak, refined by people whose names we'll never know, written down almost as an afterthought by someone who thought it was too ordinary to explain. Some things are ancient. Some things are just human. This is one of them. If you want more of these, the strange, hidden histories of the things we never question. Hit subscribe, because there are a lot more of these where this came from.